Well, since I praised the Crack in time for its well-paced story and well-structured gameplay, I was really unsure of what a 4-player co-op would contribute. So, I played it with an open mind and got really disappointed. It's odd because the exact same story writer worked on this, and to think that this is the follow-up we get? But before I get ahead of myself, I'll just go over the story. So Captain Quark is now the president of Polaris, and he is going to receive an award for defeating a giant monster, even though he didn't really do it. When he goes to accept the award, it turns out to be a trap set by Dr. Nefarious. He reanimates the monster from cryosleep, but this ultimately backfires as the creature turns on him as well. From there, the beast is defeated, and a strange ship appears that captures Ratchet, Clank, Quark, and Nefarious. While they are being held captive by a strange foe, a little girl who just so happens to be there sets them free without even knowing who they are, but she does win the award for the most unimaginative name of Susie, and the most unoriginal motive of being a galactic scout. So our heroes and supervillain turned ally have to face a new threat that ends up getting resolved in the most underwhelming way possible. The problems begin with the control scheme. For starters, the weapon select is now mapped entirely through the right analog stick instead of the triangle button, so that alone takes a lot of getting used to. I also strongly recommend playing with another person because playing alone is a huge repetitive grind. You'll have an AI companion in single player, and to be fair, they're pretty responsive as they follow closely, equip the same weapon as you, and can save themselves from danger. There is also a vacuum device that plays a big role in gameplay, as you use it to activate switches, and throw objects and other players to a target. It's pretty fun, but it makes the player too dependent on it by constantly throwing out opportunities to use it. In addition to that, there is also a fairly sized arsenal to use, and each character can receive one unique weapon, but the biggest issue is that for stronger enemies, 2 or more players have to focus their firepower on a single target, so that a powerful damaging explosion happens. But this isn't very exciting since it's the only real effective way to handle the problem. Speaking of weapons, most of them aren't that great because they would be more suited to a traditional platformer. Which this isn't. What also sucks is that upgrades are now entirely purchasable, rather than being rewarded with them as weapons are used. Another thing that I never got used to is that the new character models look awful. I mean, they just look so strange and cartoonish, just so uncomfortably different. Now, I know that change isn't always a bad thing. With the Sly Cooper games, a lot was changed by Sly too, but at least one can say that the same core gameplay was present. But here, I feel like if you change the characters and names of everything, I don't think anyone would immediately state that this feels like Ratchet and Clank. The humor carries some wittiness, but not all of the creativity, so very few of the jokes ever hit bullseyes. Also, for the first time, I really stopped caring about what was going on. Yeah, I was actually really surprised about how bored I was getting while playing it. Oh yeah, there is also this new collectible where you have to vacuum up these tiny creatures in order to unlock puzzles that reward you with rhino parts. Instead of a giant rocket launcher, it's now a mech suit, which again is a little out of place. I can tell that Insomniac were really proud of this game, and they really wanted it to work, but sadly, All for One just feels like it was all for nothing.
Your voice modulator is damaged, Commander. But if you tell us how to defeat Ephemeris, I believe I know someone who can fix you.
Well, I don't like to brag, but I did modify my crotchetizer with a special vibrating function I call the Happy Platypus.